you don't feel like you have to be the strong superwoman.
Right. I'm gonna go to Horace, and then I'm gonna answer Jeff's point about the fear thing. Horace, go ahead and jump in there.
Now, I want to really, I had a comment, but I think Trey was going down the road I was going down. I think we have to recognize that African Americans, Black people, we endure American experience like nobody else.
Yes.
And I think that, especially for the females and men, but the females especially, examples: a young woman, expecting mother, has goes into labor, loses child. That's trauma. A lot of times in America, we don't have the luxury of time to heal. We don't even grasp the concept of therapy. We just pack it in and keep going. We're taught that. Pack it in, keep going. So over a period of time, we all have a bunch of stuff that we're hanging on to. My brothers told me one time that I have learned to process and move forward on stuff that I didn't realize I was doing. I was grieving over someone that had passed 10 years ago. So when I got into a relationship, she allowed me to understand some of the things I was experiencing. But to Trey's point, I think as couples, we have to give each other grace, and we have to be able to have that naked conversation to really put it out there and say, hey, you know, this is what I experienced, or this is what she experienced, and coming together to say we're both under attack daily, but hey, let's give each other some grace and help each other, be partners where we can work through some of these things that we're enduring. So I think that's the best part. Like Trey was saying, given that safe space, being able to get that trust and be naked with one another, and just realizing like, hey, we've all endured something from our childhood to our adulthood, and we got to be the best person we can be and keep processing through those things.
I think that there's a lot, and I made this point, and I want to hit this. And Gabriel, I'm going to get to a lot of what you're saying, because there is definitely a truth, and I want you to share some of your perspectives about what it's like for Black women outside of America, because I agree, American history has created this fear. But when we talk about Black women and fear, Jeff, fear can be anything. Anything can create fear in a woman. Obviously any sign of aggression can be fear, but fear can be anything. And a lot of times it might not seem rational to the other person, but it's real to her in that moment, because something triggered that fear that took her back to a traumatic experience in her life. So when we talk about fear, we're talking about anything that's going to send that woman into that will send her to a traumatic experience that she's had at one point in her life, whether it was directly or indirectly, meaning, maybe something directly happened to her that created that fear, that could have triggered that fear.